Hello, I'm Nathan.
And I'm Orlee.
And we're part of the TAC.
And we're going to be interviewing Marlon Forrester,
an incredible artist whose work centers around the black male body.
How would you describe your work and your creative process?
My process is definitely about an idea of meditation and reflection. My work, deals with the black male body in sports, but I primarily look at it through the lens of ritual. And I think about ritual in a way that art relates to power, identity, class, power in relationship to how my body is reflected. Specifically, we look at the black male body and how that's seen within the context of, pop culture.
So what kind of effect has making art that addresses racial injustice had on your health, and how do you use art to heal from that?
It's a tricky line, right? When you're creating art, are you a social justice artist, right? Most artists are really creating art from their own cultural and societal and historical kind of background, right? So, when I think about, growing up in America, right, or being West Indian, right, I can't separate those things from who I am. So the work is from the lens of the lived space of being American, right? So with that, there is the context of, we as Americans live in different spaces and how we navigate those spaces. And so the history of slavery, the history of identity of power is manifested on particular bodies. And so the work that I've used, specifically my performance work, that deals with me laying prone, whether in front of large architectural or structural objects that are connected to societal power, those talk about that body and the history of that, whether through slavery, through its migration into the space of sports, and how those things fall into question, right? Or question what the idea of this body in this place means.
How have you been able to express your concerns and observations about inequality through your art?
For me, just, me just being here. I think my work for a time really stepped away from my own generative process and started dealing more directly with social justice needs, because I felt like as artists, if we are visible and we're in the forefront, we need to respond immediately and try to give people an anchor point in a way.
Who did you need when you were starting out as an artist, and how have you become who you needed when you were younger?
So growing up, my cultural background being West Indian, we had these festivals called the West Indian Festival, which, there's large plumage, parades and so on and so forth. So embedded in that is definitely very pure African connection, right? And how that evokes what we call a cultural sensibility and connection to a psychic homeland. Those were things that I knew as my family went there and either built or performed or took part in these festivals. So that was, I think, what I needed, and it's still embedded in my work now.
In a 2014 interview, you said that you never see challenges in your life and only opportunities for growth. So is that still true?
Failure for me is, I don't see failure as a failure. I see it as a learning opportunity. And so even now, that is the kind of my motto in terms of how I walk through the world.
What stunts your creativity, if there is anything?
There's not enough time. There's not enough time in one day to do everything you want to do.
What is the most rewarding part of art making?
I think the most rewarding part of art making is that in the paintings that I have here at the ICA for the show If Black Saints Could Fly 23, there are a lot of technical things behind the work that I've been studying over many years, that I've embedded in, that work through optical vibration and pattern, that are very, they're intentional. It isn't by accident, So I placed those things in because, I wanted those paintings to speak and to walk and talk and kind of move in a specific way optically.
So you told me a little bit that you incorporate sports into your art, and if basketball hadn't had such a profound effect on your work, where do you think your art would be today?
Without sports, I think would be different, yet the same, right? Because everyone has an individual voice, a spiritual connection with the world around them. And so, yeah, without sports, I think it would evoke the same kind of energy that is embedded within me.
That was the end of our deep question. Now we're gonna do a lightning round. So if you were a color, what color would you be?
The color of everything.
What languages do you speak?
I speak the language of love.
What's your favorite word in another language?
I would say ohayou gozaimasu.
Can you translate that word?
It's in Japanese and it says just hello in a very more vernacular way.
Do you have a favorite cultural food?
I love my pepper pot, which is a Guyanese special dish. I love my curry chicken,
Cake or pie?
Definitely pie.
Muffins or cupcakes?
Definitely the muffin.
Day or night?
Night and day.
Orlee and I and the TAC all want to thank you for coming and letting us interview you.
It was a true honor to be here. Thank you so much.